Hey, howdy, hi, everybody. Strong right arm here. We're back for another one, and I was watching something, and it brought some things to mind that I wanted to share with you. Get a little bit better here where we can talk. Um, First of all, you cannot stand up to a system that you depend on. Okay, if you depend on the system at all, you have no foothold. They control everything about what you're doing, who you are, what you spend, and where you go. Uh, do you have okay? So first of all, we all know that there is shortages and more coming on the way. We all know that we have terrorists in our country, sleeper cells. That's a given. We've already, the sheriff's organization has already been told that. Already been told it's coming. It's on the way. Worse than 9/11 ever thought of being. We're on the track. The left has allowed the enemies of the state into this country to wreak havoc on our system and our people. Do you think that when this goes down, this is going to be just on infrastructure? Do you think that people that rely on the system for their medication to live is going to survive? If they take the grid down, where are you going to get your medicine? Where are you going to get, what are you going to do? You need to be prepared for that. Do you have enough food and water set back? How much? How long will it last? You can't eat like you eat now when this goes down. You might eat once a day. And, there's going to be people out there that aren't happy about that. I would be doing some fasting now to prepare for it because later ain't gonna be no fun. Um, have you put it where the government can't get to it? Where'd you put it? Is it in your house? Okay, that's fine, but is it all in your house or on your property? Well, if martial law happens, and it most likely will happen, I don't know to what extent it will happen, but if you live in a large city, it will definitely happen. Out in the burbs and out where I live, not so much. It won't make a big difference. But nevertheless, it will happen. And eventually, the government, and it may take some time, but eventually the government will start raiding storage units. And speaking of storage units, do you think that the government's the only one going to do that? There is a lot of stuff in storage units. And guess what? There's people that know it. And there's people that'll go over to these storage units, break them open, and take anything that they can use in there. So is all your preps in a storage unit? I don't know. I'm not saying that's the wrong place, but I'm not saying it's the right place. How is your relationships with your neighbors? Because your neighbors will turn you in and you'll have little control over it. If you have a bunch of food or a bunch of preps and everybody knows it, guess what? They're going to come to you and say, hey, my family's hungry. Can I have some food? If you say no, you should have gotten ready, they're going to turn your ass in. Yeah, they're not going to have anything, but neither are you. So, you better have good relationships with your neighbors now. Be talking with your neighbors now. Make those relationships and start prepping together because you can make community in your neighborhood. Get a little, springtime's coming. Have a little block party and put a flyer out and say, hey, we're having a block party. This is going to be what we're talking about. We welcome you to come and talk to us. We'd like to hear from you. Blah blah blah. Whatever it takes. Make your block your community. Because guess what? When shit hits the fan and martial law comes down, you're all going to have to patrol your neighborhood to keep it safe. You have to have a good, robust neighborhood watch program. I'm not going to say you're going to be, shooting them up with the gangs, going in and out of doing urban warfare. That's not what I'm saying. You need a good, robust neighborhood watch program so everybody knows what's going on. It wouldn't hurt that if every household had one of those GMRS radios, those Baofeng GMRS radios, to communicate with, so that when everybody has them charged up, and when things go to hell in a handbasket, guess what? Everybody gets on that channel, and you all check in, and you all are capable of communicating with each other. I think that's a good idea. I don't know, but I mean, as a neighborhood watch captain years ago, if I'd have thought about that, I'd have done it. But nobody had thought about that at that time. How are you set for power? Can you be self-sufficient when the grid goes down? Do you have a little refrigerator for your medical stuff? Are you on insulin? Does it need to be refrigerated? You could put a little RV refrigerator in there, and it'll do a fantastic job of keeping stuff cool. And it'll use very little power. Now, you're not going to put your groceries and crap in there because, that's just not how that works. Unless you have a system big enough to run your whole house. And not a lot of people do. You don't need much power, but you do need some. I mean, lights, charge your phones, and they still will be useful. They've got apps on them that will help you. Basically, basic stuff: lights, phone, refrigerator for medical stuff, CPAP machines, oxygen machines, whatever you need. That's what you need to power. You need to gather batteries and an inverter now. Now, I would suggest you gather deep cycle batteries, but car batteries will work. LED lighting is the key. Car batteries will work. You string them together in a series, and you have a lot larger capacity. Car batteries aren't the greatest thing in the world, but they will work. So if things go to hell in a handbasket, go grab car batteries out of cars if you have to. It'll work. Be getting things ready now so that you can put batteries together, one to the next, positive, positive, negative, negative. And then when you charge the battery or the battery pack, you put your positive on one end, your negative on the other end. Don't put them together, but positive on one end, negative on the other. That charges the batteries equally. A 250, 300 watt solar panel and a good charge controller will go a long ways in that system. It may not be perfect, and you may have to shut it down for a day or two to completely charge those batteries back up, but it will do it. Again, how big a system, how robust a system do you have? Do you want? Do you need? Buy quality. When you do this, buy quality. Don't buy a cheap China inverter. You need to buy a pure sine wave, low frequency inverter, and those aren't cheap. Those are the ones that last years. These cheap modified sine wave batteries, they're not the ones to have for this. they're great for cars to do certain things, but if you want something that's gonna be a good fit for off grid when things go to hell in a handbasket, you need a pure sine wave, low frequency inverter. I don't care what size it is, but that's what you need. You know, quality. Um, do you have your basic hygiene covered? You know, enough for every member in your family to last 1 year. And what am I talking about? Okay, I'm talking about toothpaste, deodorant, toilet paper, obviously. You know, cleaning supplies. You know, packages of Pool Shock can make a lot of bleach, and bleach will do a lot of cleaning. Um, that's, you know, those are some of the things you need to be thinking about now. Um, One of the other things you need to consider is, do you have medical covered? I'm talking about trauma kits, IFAKs or individual first aid kits, boo boo kits with band aids and stuff. Do you have enough of that to last a year? Um, do you have, and I've just recently uh, went through this problem. I looked and looked and looked for something large and super absorbent to have in my trauma kit. And what I was looking for was, back in the day, years ago, uh, they had very, very thick surgical pads for women. And these are for women who have had a hysterectomy. Back in the day, they did it the old fashioned way. We all know what I'm talking about. And these things were really thick. I went looking for those. They don't even make them anymore. I can't even find them. I went with the next best thing. It's basically a belly bandage that's supposedly super absorbent. It's probably a 4x8, 4x6, something like that. Trauma bandage. It's not what I was looking for, but it's better than nothing. Um, you need to be able to buy a surgical kit, something that you can use to suture up something. If it's very bad, there are sutures you can get that are like band-aids. You know, you can look into a lot of things. Absolutely go crazy on that. Spend your money. Do whatever you got to do. Because when the shit hits the fan, that stuff is going to be hard to find. You know, whatever it is, you need to have enough of it to last a year, and you need to have a plan to use it. If you don't know how to use it, it's worthless. So learn how to use whatever you have. Okay, so what steps have you taken today or this week or this month to get ready to prep? What steps? Anything? Most of us haven't, because we haven't thought about it, or we've given it little thought. Most of the country doesn't think that way, especially the left. These are the people that are going to come knocking at your door. Do you have a plan when that happens? Do you have, what I would suggest is having little kits, you know, a little bit of canned food here, a little bit of canned food there. You know, go online and buy a bunch of P38s and put a P38 in there, you know, so they can open a can, or buy pop top cans. It doesn't matter. Some plastic eating utensils, paper plates, just whatever. Just have small kits ready for people that come to your house that are hungry and say, hey, you know, do you have any food? Well, yeah, I've got this bag here. It's not much, but it's what I have. That's what I can spare. And, you know, they will go away grateful. The likelihood they'll come back, yeah, it could be. But at that point, you know, it's, no, I only had so much, you know. And that's where you go. It's, guys, later is just flat too late. doing any of this stuff later is just flat too late. You need to have a plan today. You need to have a way of doing this today. You need to have a place to store this today. You need to have a place to store it that's safe today. Tomorrow's just too late. All right, guys. Thanks for coming and listening. I hope you found this insightful. I hope you found it informative. And I hope you take it to heart. Things are going to get dicey pretty quick. So if you would like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.